Hi, I'm Bob George. With me today is Marty McLee. We work for Citizen Corps, which is a Department of Homeland Security program that asks every citizen to stay engaged in the safety of their own communities. Every day, emergency managers and emergency responders are working hard to develop plans, conduct training, and exercise those plans so they are capable of helping you in an emergency. Mac and I would like to be able to ask every citizen, what are you doing to prepare for a disaster so you can help yourself, your family, and hopefully your neighbor?
On September 11, 2001, every citizen of the state of Delaware realized that terror and disaster can strike close to home. In fact, at the speeds the hijacked airliners were flying, Delaware was less than 15 minutes from the World Trade Center and the Pentagon. After September 11, 2001, and other disasters such as Hurricane Katrina, Americans everywhere began to ask, what can I do to be prepared, and how can I help?
The presentation you're about to view has one main objective: to motivate. Motivate you to go home, sit down with your family, and develop an emergency plan. Build a realistic emergency supply kit. Know what to do if you have to evacuate, and know what to do if you have to shelter in place. Consider the following scenario. You go home tonight and receive a notification from your local emergency manager, maybe even a knock on your door from your local law enforcement officer telling you there's been an unknown chemical spill in your area. You must evacuate. Where would you go? What would you take? They're waiting. Your safety and the safety of your family is riding on your decision. Hopefully, after viewing this presentation, you will be better equipped to answer this question.
Citizen Corps have been formed all over America to help people answer these questions through public education, community outreach, training, and volunteer service. This video presentation has been developed to help you and your family plan and prepare for a disaster. In order to properly plan for a disaster, we need to consider the various possible disaster scenarios that surround us and how those scenarios can impact our ability to survive. A disaster can be localized or widespread, but it will generally be defined by three factors. First, a disaster is an event which is relatively unexpected. Even in situations such as hurricanes, where we may have days of advanced warning, the severity and impact of a storm can be highly unpredictable. The second aspect of a disaster is that the event will usually overwhelm and/or disable traditional emergency services. The third component of a disaster is that lives, health, and the environment are placed in jeopardy. Make no mistake, Delaware is not immune to any disaster possibility, particularly a natural disaster, and in fact, may be more prone than some areas due to our geographical location, a concentration of certain industries and facilities, and our role as a central point of transportation on the Atlantic seaboard.
A disaster can be the result of an intentional human act. These we call man-made disasters. Some examples include
a terrorist act or other act of deliberate sabotage, fires, building collapse, or intentional release of harmful chemicals.
A disaster can also be the result of a failure of technology. Some examples of technological disasters include
train derailments, tractor-trailer accidents, plane crashes, nuclear releases, or other plant releases.
Finally, a disaster can be a natural event.
These include nor'easters, hurricanes, tornadoes, floods, blizzards, ice or windstorms, or extended periods of power outage can also create a disaster scenario.
Knowing how to prepare for a natural disaster can help you know how to deal with a technological or man-made disaster. It is vital that you spend some time considering all the possible man-made, natural, and technological disaster threats in your area. The most important step to creating your personal disaster and evacuation plan is to spend time researching potential threats near your home, your work, and along your commute. Some resources that can help you understand the potential threats around you include
local media such as newspaper, television, and radio, the internet, local libraries, the local Red Cross, police and fire departments, neighbors, and community groups.
Knowledge is power, so learn the potential threats that could affect the health and the safety of you and your family. Now let's start planning for those threats.